How do you get over imposter syndrome? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to cover in today's video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like videos like this. I release new ones each and every week. Hey everybody, Dan Henry here, author of the Wall Street Journal best-selling book, Digital Millionaire Secrets, and founder of 𝐃𝐚𝐧.com. And today I'm going to be talking about something very important, how to get over imposter syndrome, especially if you are trying to declare yourself an expert or authority in a particular space. One thing that might be holding you back is thinking, well, are people going to take me seriously? What if they think I'm not an expert? What if they think I shouldn't be declaring myself an authority? What if people criticize me? If you really think about this and you really break it down, it's a lot more simple to solve than most people make it. And that's what I'd like to cover today. I'd like to cover exactly how to not just solve imposter syndrome, but really think about it. And so I'm going to be reading a chapter out of my book, Digital Millionaire Secrets, because I have a chapter in this book called Slaying the Haters, and it's exactly about how to get over imposter syndrome. And I said it pretty well in this book, so I don't see any reason to change it. I might as well just read you the chapter right out of the book. And if you like it, you can always pick up a copy of this book because there's a lot more gold in it. By the way, let me know in the comments, do you suffer from imposter syndrome? Let me know yes or no in the comments. All right, so hopping into this chapter, I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then I'll provide a little bit of commentary after the fact. It's a very short chapter. It's the shortest one in the book. It's called Slaying the Haters. So, to avoid criticism, do nothing, say nothing, be nothing. Elbert Hubbard. It's a great quote. Whether you are doing something right or wrong, you will have haters. The only time you won't is if you do nothing at all. If you say nothing, nobody can criticize you. If you do nothing, nobody can criticize you. However, if you say nothing and do nothing, you will be absolutely nothing. Another great quote is by Matthew Stevenson. You will never be criticized by something doing more than you. You will be criticized by someone doing less. It's natural to be worried about criticism once you proclaim yourself an expert or an authority on a specific subject. I've had thousands of comments from people on social media saying horrible things about me. Every time I launch a new ad, there are always negative comments. I've even had someone send me a message that said, "I wish your baby died in the hospital." Yet, I remember that one, yet we have over 15,000 customers. That's 15,000 people that liked what I had to say. They liked it so much that they decided to give me their hard-earned money to hear more. Eileen, one of my clients who is now a seven-figure earner, once asked me, "Dan, how do you deal with people saying bad things about you? I get so frustrated." Well, then I asked about her clients. I asked how many people's lives she had changed. She told me story after story of women she has helped grow their photography business. So I said, well, whose opinion do you care about more? Those who made a passing judgment because they were bored, or those who listened and had enough faith to pay you? Point made, she replied. Judge yourself not by what people say about you, but by how many people pay you. I never look at Facebook comments as a measure of how well I am doing. I look at my sales. Judge yourself. Oh, sorry, I already read that part. If you are doing a lousy job, then people either won't buy at all, or the people that do buy will give you feedback. Trust me. I've never seen a negative comment, clicked on the person's profile, and read that they were a billionaire. Usually they are unemployed. Warren Buffett is not going to send me a message and say, "Dan, you suck." Do not take what those people say and let it bother you, because it makes no sense to let it aggravate you. Now, if someone says, "I think it's a scam because of this specific reason," well, maybe you should pay attention to that and adjust your marketing if needed. That's an entirely different story. But if things are selling, everything's going great, and people are criticizing you, sending you mean messages, then it doesn't matter. If what people say mattered, then they wouldn't have time to say it. But wait, What if it's you that is the one saying mean things about yourself? What if you have the dreaded imposter syndrome? In my opinion, the easiest way to get over imposter syndrome is to build things that matter. So if you say to yourself, I can't do this because I have imposter syndrome, well, the simple act of doing it is how you get over it. If you build something that matters, you won't have imposter syndrome because you'll have built something great. What if you have no credibility? First, you must realize that credibility is all about perception. Do you know what Christopher Nolan, Stanley Kubrick, Quentin Tarantino, and Steven Spielberg all have in common? They never went to film school. If you build something that matters, that's credibility. If your students are getting results, that's credibility. I read an article once about a guy that made $1 million selling a course on how to make money on eBay. He only makes $500 a week from selling on eBay. People want that $500 a week. That's good enough for them. And he's able to teach them and get the results they desire. He made a promise, not a big one, but one that he can fulfill. You don't have to be rich to teach a business course. You don't have to be Mr. Olympia to teach a fitness course. You don't have to be a famous actor to teach an acting course. Credibility is about perception, and your only perception should be your students' results. You are the worst pirate I've ever heard of. Ah, but you have heard of me, Captain Jack Sparrow. So, here's the thing, and I'll end this video with this. If you recall, there is a picture of Jeff Bezos in the first iteration of Amazon's corporate headquarters. And he's sitting in a small room with a messy, just very modest desk and a banner hanging on the wall with the words Amazon.com spray painted on that banner. Now, did Jeff Bezos literally sit there and say to himself, well, you know, I have imposter syndrome. I'm not credible enough to start a company because I've got this really crappy, sign where I spray painting the name of my company and I'm in this tiny little office. And so, because I'm just not quite the best yet, I'm not going to begin. Or did he say, you know what, here's what I got. It's not great. It's not perfect. I'm not the best yet, but I will be one day. And he began. And now he's one of the richest people in the entire world. And he's grown Amazon to literally, you'd be very hard pressed to find a stock price higher than Amazon's. There's not too many. There are, but it's one of the higher priced stocks in the stock market. It's one of the biggest, fastest growing companies in the world. Literally everybody buys things on Amazon. I probably buy something on Amazon every other day. Really think about that. Do you think Steve Jobs didn't start Apple because he didn't already have Apple? He didn't already have the best computer in the world? Do you think that, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, do you think all these guys started and thought to themselves, well, I can't begin because I'm not already the best? You become the best by beginning. I wasn't the best when I started. I wasn't the best when I started my company. Now I'm considered one of the, if not the best in my field. But I didn't start that way. You're going to get better as you go. But if you let imposter syndrome stop you from beginning, you'll never get anywhere, and you never will be the best. Nobody got to the top without climbing. And so the idea that you shouldn't begin because of imposter syndrome is literally a contradiction in of itself. Because the way to get to the top is by climbing. If you remember watching the movie The Social Network, Mark Zuckerberg was sitting in a house, literally a rented house, where a bazillion people were living there, all working on coding on computers. He built Facebook out of his dorm room. Do you think he said, well, what if people don't like me? A lot of people didn't like him. A lot of people still don't like him. But he also created the most popular social media site of all time. So I just want you to remember that if you want to build something great, If you want to get to the top of the mountain, you're going to have to climb. And everybody stops. Everybody starts at the bottom. And you are no different. So just start climbing. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to grab a copy of my book, because if you like that chapter that I read, you're probably going to like the rest of the book. I'll leave a link in the description where you can get this book for free. Just pay shipping and I'll ship it right out to you. As well, if you've already read this book and you'd like to discuss working with my company specifically to help grow your business, your offer, then you can book a call to speak to us about that. I'll leave a link with that below as well. And finally, don't forget to subscribe so you can get more videos like this. See you in the next one.